good, brother?
What is up? What is up? Matty B from Vegas this week, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm at the Circa right now, bro. You want to see the
Sick.
view?
Yeah, let's see it. I know you already know you got the pool view every time. Every
Bro,
time you go.
you come to the Circa, you're here for one of two reasons. You're here for the sports book or the pool, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You look all the way down there. All right, let me try to point properly. That's where the outdoor blackjack is, bro.
Yep.
But
yep, looks good, man. I'm missing it out there.
It's Gen Pop Blackjack with shitty rules, but it is cool to play by the pool with like a daiquiri, though. You know, but the Circa's sick, bro. I like coming here, not for like the luxury or suites or tables, but good ass sports book.
Yep.
Good rules, good people that run it, and it's honestly pretty solid UFC props and numbers, etc. So it's not too bad. What's good, chat? I don't want to see no Gilbert Burns slander in here, boys. Nah, I'm just kidding. You guys are entitled to your opinions. Let's go. Gilbert by whatever he wants. We're going to talk about that, Nolan, at the end of the show, because everyone keeps asking me on IG, like they know that I'm not just a money line bettor, right? So they're like, what's the play here? Dude, Circa had Gilbert at 20-1 by knockout, 11-1 sub, and then decision, I think, was like, 12-1 or some shit. I got to look. But crazy fucking numbers.
Yeah.
By knockout. I don't think in his whole career he's ever been 20-1 to win by a knockout. Like,
I think people are forgetting a lot of. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but there's a lot of things people are forgetting about this matchup. Like they see the young guy coming up who's undefeated, and they see a Gilbert Burns who just lost, Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, like, come on. Like people are forgetting what he's capable of being older or not.
For 12 minutes, like we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Guys, if you guys want to get into the show, that is tomorrow night. So make sure while you're here, you drop a like, you subscribe. Check out Nolan the Parlays channels as well. He's doing some good shit on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Go check him out. He's going to be filling in for Hey Jive tomorrow night on the Longshot show. So you guys come back for that. That's how you get it on the show. Tonight is just the breakdown show. So let's get and dive right into it, bro. Lana versus Tisha Pennington. Not terrible matchmaking here. Why can't I see the odds? Wow, plus 300, bro.
Yeah.
Insane. Absolutely insane. What do you make of this fight? Where are you leaning right now?
Yeah, it was actually like a couple of days ago. I think Tisha was all the way up to like minus 450. It's insane, man. I mean, minus 300 now is like, I'd cap her like minus 275. Even minus 300 is not terrible, just considering who she's fought and how Luana's looked. But I don't know. It's hard to pick a side because Tisha's in a greasy split decision every time she steps into the octagon. She's older now, took a little time off. But the one thing I do think she has on her side is the volume, obviously. She doesn't have much power, has decent grappling and wrestling, but she throws a lot of volume. She's always in your face. We kind of seen Luana break to that, against lesser fighters, in my opinion. So I think the under is like plus 350, under 2.5 is like plus 350. And I know neither girl, especially Tisha, doesn't really have that finishing edge. But, if Luana starts getting tired and breaks, I could see an attritional striking type of stoppage type thing. And if you're getting plus 350, I don't know. I looked at it really hard. I haven't pulled the trigger, but I think it's more value there than playing a Luana who's got 6-7 minutes to win the fight. And if not, she's probably screwed. So I think Tisha probably wins a split decision, maybe unanimous decision, but you never know.
Chat wants to know if you think the point spread's live here. I mean, when you see Luana go the distance with Jillian Robertson and then you see how that's aged, you got to think she can survive and win around here, I would think.
Yeah. She always comes out hot too.
I don't know what the juice is on that plus 3.5. It's probably it's probably pretty high, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I can find out. But yeah, I'm sure their mindset is the same as a lot of people. It's like she comes out and she looks good in round one. She just starts to fade. She's really talented, super talented in my opinion. It's just, man, that gas tank.
Facts.
I think it's minus 125 for plus 3.5.
All right, I like it. Let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time there. Carlos Hernandez versus Sun Park, bro. This is another weird fight to me. What's he plus? Why can't I see tonight? Plus 160. for the underdog here. Somebody Park is undefeated, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, what's he, 9-0 or something?
Yeah, 9-0. Yeah, I mean, all those undefeated fighters losing their O this year.
Hey, hopefully that happens in the main event, bro. That's what we're banking on.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on this one? Where are you leaning?
I mean, I think Hyung-Sung Park is probably more talented at this point. He can grapple, he can wrestle, but his striking's clean, it's fast, and he has some power. It's just, it's that experience factor mixed in with these undefeated fighters are dropping like flies. And then also these road to the UFC guys are just not panning out whatsoever. And, he's a product of that. I just, that sooner or later, that trend's got to break, right? And it's going to cost people a ton of money. I mean, I think Carlos Hernandez plus 160s, not a bad number. I think he's outpowered here, if I'm being honest. And there's a strength advantage for Park. I've just never been a big Carlos Hernandez backer. You look at him getting knocked out by Tyra. You looked at him, getting wrestled up by Ray Saruya, even though he had a good performance. I think Park can kind of mix in a mixture of both of those guys here with a little bit better and cleaner striking than both those guys, really. So if Carlos Hernandez can sub him, I think that's his path. Maybe try to wrestle him, get him tired. But if he can't, I think he's going to get caught with big shots on the feet.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about Park's performance against the fucking chinny guy. What's his name? Shannon Ross.
Shannon Ross.
I don't know how much stock you can put into this, but
yeah,
it's something to look at, right? Shannon Ross has literally been KO'd in 4 straight fights, right? But the 3 fights before his last fight finished in 4 minutes, finished in 40 seconds, finished in 4 minutes, and then finished in the Jesus Aguilar. Was that an early finish or the end of round?
Jesus Aguilar was like 30 seconds maybe.
Yeah, 17
it was quick.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me I guess what I'm getting at here is Shannon Ross in his last 3 fights before he fought Park was put away in 4 minutes, in 1 minute, and in 17 seconds. But then he lasts 9 minutes against Park?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't really like that result as a Park backer. Like, you take 9 minutes to finish Shannon Ross, a guy that is getting put away in the first round every single fight pretty much.
Yep.
That's just something to look at here. What do you make of Park by decision? Do you think that has any upside here, or even Hernandez by decision?
I don't like the decision prop much, and the only reason I would like it in this fight is because it's flyweights, and if you are going to see a decision, those guys are so talented, it's hard to catch each other. It could go to a decision, but Park's got a 90% finish rate. I think he's finished 8 out of 9. He can do it by knockout or sub. Hernandez is sneaky with his submission game, and he obviously has the cardio, and Park's never really been pushed. So I could see a late finish for him too. If the number's right, I think, a decision play is not the worst look in the world, just because things you mentioned, man. He took a long time to finish Shannon Ross when everybody else is just cleaning him out in 3 minutes and under. But again, it's just so many questions about his durability. We haven't seen much of Park at a higher level. We've seen Hernandez knocked out, seen him put in vulnerable positions on the ground. So it's hard. It's going to be a pass for me. I think money line wise, Carlos Hernandez is a side. If you're playing Park, probably a decision. It's just so much unknown, if I'm being honest, on this fight.
The late round props are pretty juicy, bro.
What's for Park?
Hernandez round 3 KOs 50-1. Hernandez
holy shit.
Round 3 submissions 50-1, and then Park probably would lead in the KO if it's late, right? So it's 2-3. Round 2 is 15-1 on the KO, 24-1 on the round 3 KO. I don't hate a 2-3 or even just a 3 for Park KO. Or this reminds me. Remember when I did what was the fight? Fucking D-Rod fight. I took D-Rod round 3 KO at 22-1, and then I took Ponzi round 3 finish at some double digits. But I basically just took 2-way action on round 3, and thankfully D-Rod smacked. I don't hate that here. I think I think the fight's going to get to the 3rd round.
What'd you say? Hernandez was 50-1 either KO or sub? Each one is 50
on each.
See, that's interesting because let's say he comes out here and decides to just push a pace and put this kid up against the cage, land elbows, knees, and he throws a lot of volume. Doesn't have the most power or anything, but like I said, this kid hasn't really been pushed or tested. So let's say he just breaks, starts the gas, and Hernandez locks in a sub or something.
Yeah,
It's interesting,
man.
man.
On the one bet show.
I took this fight. I took Park, but his odds were a little bit better at the time. And again, it was one. I made sure to let everybody know that it was not a confident play whatsoever. I just had to go to the guy that looks like he's a little more well-rounded and explosive. But
for sure. Did you rewatch? We'll move on here in a second because we can't spend much time on this. But did you rewatch the Park Shannon Ross fight?
Yeah, and
what did you make of that? Was he just too patient? Because I don't remember that fight. I didn't rewatch it yet.
I remember. I don't think he was too patient. Like he was wobbling Shannon Ross early. There was a few times he kind of had Shannon Ross on shaky legs and dropped him. But Shannon Ross, like to his credit, he's a motor, man. He comes out. He's got some offensive firepower. He just has no chin and defense. And I remember Shannon Ross landing some decent shots on Park too. But obviously that gets him clipped and it gets him hurt. So Park hurt him a couple times in the first round, and then early in the second just put him away.
Yeah. Carlos Hernandez. 0 knockout wins, 4 wins by submission. I don't know. Let's move on. I'm pumped to hear what you think in this one, bro.
I love this one, dude. I love this one.
It was Elise Reed, the 25-year-old, 7 years younger than Reed. 10-3 record versus 8-4 record. This one's crazy, bro. I think it's going to be kind of a barn burner on the feet for a little bit. I think Gomes can. I'm going to give you the 4 here because you're the one that texted me on this fight a couple of days ago. But go ahead and tell the people what you're looking at here.
Yeah. First of all, I've seen a lot of love on Elise Reed's money line this week, which I can't blame anybody. Plus 500 in women's MMA. There's what's not to really love. But at the end of the day, Denise Gomes, over the course of her UFC career, has kind of shown that her striking's get a little more composed. It's more technical now. She's a little more patient to where when she just came in, man, she was just starching girls, brawling, all of that. She still has that in her back pocket, but she's mixing in a little bit of grappling, a little bit of cage control, and looking for takedowns and submissions. And Elise Reed is 4-4 in the UFC. She's been finished twice by knockout, twice by submission. Every time she loses, she's getting finished. I think her striking's talented and it's technical, but it lacks that sting, man. She lacks the big knockout power, something that's really going to stop Denise Gomes from moving forward. And, Denise Gomes putting a 30-27 on Eduardo Mora is pretty impressive. If you ask me, I think Mora is really good.
Bro, I think it's beyond impressive. Like, beyond. Yeah. Like, I'm super high on Eduardo, bro. I've made some coin on that chick, bro.
Yep.
You know what? Now that I think about it, the last what was that? Or no. Why did I think that was the cycle? No. So I had Eduardo decision in a cycle lay, but I don't think that cycle hit because that was in November. No, it was just like a regular parlay. But I had Eduardo as a dog against Veronica Hardy was so insane with her physicality. So I made some good coin on her there against Veronica Hardy. Made some great coin against who's that Mexican chick? Montserrat
Ruiz.
Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an easy finish prop. Like, Eduardo is good, bro. She's, like, super physical, really decently skilled. And, at the end of the day, Gomes was able to put a good at the end of the day, Gomes was able to make it a really good competitive fight, I just think Gomes is gonna get this one done inside the distance here. What's the difference on the sub and KO here? And you said you lean the sub?
I lean the sub because it's plus 500. I think KO. Denise Gomes inside the distance is like plus 150. Fight end inside the distance is plus 130, and the sub was plus 500. I can't remember what the KO prop was, but I'm pretty sure it was. It wasn't great. But I look at the sub because Denise Gomes had Mora in that first round in a deep guillotine. Like, people can say it wasn't that tight, but Mora was panicking, bro. She was doing everything she could.
I'll tell you one thing. There is consistently value on fighters that get their first sub in the UFC, especially when you verify with tape study that they're fucking looking for it. And I think you might have nailed this one. Denise Gomes by submissions 5-1 on most books right now.
Yep.
I think it's worth a sprinkle. Let's move on, though. Lana Santos, bro. What do you make of this fight right here?
Yeah, I like the dog here, man. I like Lisboa, and I've seen a lot of people back and forth, but for me, I think Lisboa is a more technical and sound striker. She's got more more of a striking background. She's physical too. I mean, she hasn't really beat the highest level of competition, but neither has Luana Santos. Luana Santos beat Juliana Miller by just brawling in the first round. Her striking didn't look technical. She beat Stephanie Edgar, where she gassed out and almost lost that fight in the last round, I believe. And so if she gets tired here, Lisboa is just going to keep striking. She's going to put her against the cage. We've seen Lisboa land takedown. She submitted Jessica Rose Clark. I just think she's a way more solid and she's more of a finished product than Luana Santos. I think Santos is still trying to figure out what type of fighter she is. She's got good judo. I don't know what her top pressure and control looks like, but I think Lisboa is going to be the stronger fighter, and I think she's going to be the better striker.
Interesting. You think the subs live? Bro, am I crazy to think that, like, there are a lot of sub?
Oh, yeah, there is.
This card. Last time that happened to me, bro, was 2 weeks ago, and I had 3 bad beats on submissions. 2 were definitively bad beats. 1, you could make the argument on the Miesha Tate fight, even though she had no success through 2 rounds, but she had the rear naked choke in round 3 and didn't get it.
Yep.
But what was the first one? The heavyweight fight, Peterson versus Mays, 2 arm triangles in round 1, can't finish it. And then I forget the second sub that I got screwed on. But long story short, when it looks like there's like 5 submissions on a card, it's fucking either going to be a great day or a shit one. Like with the way that I bet, at least on props, you know. I'm with you. I'm dog or pass here on Lisboa. I don't really have much insight other than that. But
here's one more thing for the listeners. All right, Luana Santos, her last fight, I think maybe 2, was down at 125 pounds. And now this is up at 135. Last time she fought at 135, I believe she missed weight and looked awful on the scales.
Yeah.
Which is weird that she would make 125, but couldn't make 135. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what she looks like on the scales because she's a pretty big girl. She looks like pretty strong and stout in there. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see the weigh-ins on this one for sure.
Fair enough. All right. I'm going to be real. This is one of the fights on the card I haven't even looked at. So I'm going to turn the floor to you. I've been traveling this week. It's been rough. I've handicapped Connor Matthews a couple times. I haven't really done much with him in his fights, but give me the fucking full breakdown on this one, on both guys, and like what you're looking at here.
Yeah, I think Connor Matthews is gritty. I think his skills are still yet to be seen fully at the UFC level. He's coming in here and drawing pretty tough fights. Dennis Bazooka knocked him out. Jose Delgado knocked him out. But, I mean, those are 2 guys with some power. But, you know, if you let Connor Matthews hang around, he seems to be, you know, decent with the cardio. He's always in your face. He's always looking to pressure you. And, I mean, Yachti is making his debut, and we know how those debut fighters come out under the bright lights sometimes. I think Yachty's the better striker for sure. I think he's got more volume. He can also push the pace.
So it's something to be said about that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit easier to make your debut at the Apex versus a fucking sold out pay-per-view, for example, you know.
Especially like coming contenders that was in the Apex, no people.
That's
true. Same thing here.
Right.
So yeah, I agree.
He's coming off 2 straight unanimous decisions. Then he had a guillotine the fight before. That was at Fury Challenger Series 11. I haven't spent any time on this guy. So what do you have as far as a one bet here on this fight? Anything?
I think this fight goes under 2.5. I think people are going to look at Yachty's last 2 fights going to a decision. But you could also see how he's got some touch in the hands. It's -110 right now.
Not bad.
It's not bad. And I don't know. I feel like Connor Matthews, you know, getting sparked by Jose Delgado and knocked out by Bazooka, and now he's getting another guy with good striking, but also can mix in the grappling. I just feel like the Yachty is going to be live for a knockout anytime, but if he doesn't, I can see Connor Matthews, you know, getting him down, using his strength, and putting him in bad spots too. So, yeah, I just think somebody's getting a finish in this fight.
Yachty is plus 260 by KO here. I'm going to take a hard look at that number, at that prop right there. Connor Matthews by sub is 18-1. And then KO is 12-1. Wow. Those are crazy
big
for a UFC debut opponent, right? Like crazy.
Those books have no idea what to what to do half the times with like some of these guys that don't have high level experience.
Yeah, I mean Connor Matthews has 3 submissions in his last like 7 fights, and he's 18-1 to win by submission. I get that it's a different level of opposition, but 18-1 on a guy that has 3 subs in his last 7 fights is at least something to fucking look at here, bro.
But 5 of his 7 wins are by sub.
That's what I'm saying. Why is his sub 18-1?
Yeah. He
that's a weird number, bro. That's on FanDuel, so I don't
that's
know.
pretty big.
That's a weird number.
I think you look at it late too to get a real big number, 2 or 3.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. I think this is one of the best fights of the night as far as like pure matchmaking. I think it's so even. Like anyone that thinks they have a sharp side on this fight, I fucking question that. Because you get Moises, who's kind of like the more well-rounded guy, has better jiu-jitsu. But Jared Gordon, we've seen it's hard to take him down, like unless you're elite at wrestling. You know, he arguably beat Paddy Pimblett. He arguably won his last fight too. The guy's as tough as it comes, as hard as a worker as it gets. Like, I think he's 2-1 in his last 5 or something. He had like a no contest, and but the guy could arguably be like 4-1, like in his last 5. So it's like that's why you can't just look at fucking results. Like you have to really like dissect this shit. Look at the tape, see what happened. Bro, I made some coin on Jared Gordon by knockout over Mark Madsen. I made a bag on that. I think I had round 1-2 KO where I just had the KO. I can't remember. And then I honestly thought he won the Nasrat fight. I mean, I don't think that one was a robbery. I think it could have gone either way. But the Paddy fight, I thought he won. The Nasrat fight, I had him winning, but it was close either way. You know, he's just having bad luck, I feel like, in his late career here. That age is definitely not right. I think he's 36 instead of 20.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Thiago's the younger guy. Thiago's kind of entering his prime here. And the thing you got to like about Thiago is the guy's fought fucking killers, bro. I think he's fought the higher level of competition. You know, he made it competitive against Islam for a little bit. I actually liked his performance against Ludovic Klein. I'm very high on Ludovic Klein. Good, really good takedown defense, really technical kickboxing. So I actually liked that performance, the fact that he stood in there and didn't get finished. I don't see a world where Jared Gordon gets a finish here. I think you could play Jared Gordon by decision if you want to bet this, if you want to bet that side. And I think Thiago's live in multiple ways here, but I think this is a straight pick'em fight. Like I would just take plus money either way. I think this is a great matchup, and it's going to be a very close decision. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, when the lines opened, or at least when I started looking at them Sunday or Monday, this was minus 110 apiece. Now that I'm seeing plus 120 on Thiago, I kind of think that's the side slightly.
Say that again. Which side?
I think Thiago's the side now that he's getting close to plus 120. I mean, it was minus 110 on Monday apiece, but. Yeah, I mean, Jared Gordon's such a dog. My concern with Thiago is that, he can't have success early with the wrestling, but he does enough to control him against the cage and land knees. But he starts to get tired because Jared doesn't really get tired, man. And if he does get tired, he pushes through it. We saw it against Nasrat. Yeah. I mean, Nasrat was like just praying he could make it to the bell because Jared's pressure.
Jared's a dog, bro.
Oh, he's such a dog.
Both these guys are my guys, bro.
Yeah.
Both of them I'm friends on IG with. It's like both of them, like one is great friends on Gilbert's side. One's great friends on Moicano's side. Like I'm so torn emotionally in this fight, and also like I think it's a great matchup stylistically and statistically. I think this is just a perfect fucking fight, bro. This is like the perfect matchmaking. Again, I think it should be a straight pick'em, and I would literally, if like you guys could have got Jared Gordon as a dog earlier, right?
Yeah,
that's a perfect opportunity if you had him as dog money, and now you take Thiago, and then you get a nice little, 10 or 20 cent arbitrage. If you're into that type of stuff. But again, I'm going to lean Thiago based on the number, but I do not want to bet against Jared Gordon. I do think I might play this to go to distance in a parlay piece, but it's a little expensive, I think, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Jared finding the finish, but I also don't see him
getting to go to distance. I actually like that as a parlay piece. I don't think that's too expensive. I think if it was in the 300 to 400 range, then you have to maybe pass on it, but that's not bad, bro. Jared Gordon, I don't see him getting KO'd. Maybe he could get subbed. And then Moises on the other side, I don't think Gordon's going to get him out of there because he's not going to grapple with him, I don't think. And I don't think he's enough I don't think he packs enough crazy power to get Moises out of there on the feet when he just went 3 rounds with Ludovic Klein,
Right.
So official pick for me, I'm going over 2.5 or he'll probably just fight to go the distance as like a parlay piece, and I'm going to fucking skip on each side or pass on it. Let's move on. All right, boys. You guys see Hey Jive all the time on my show. This is the second half of Homifi Picks. Nolan the Parlay, my special guest of the week. If you use code BURNS, you're going to get plays for free this weekend. You're going to get all Nolan's plays, all of Hey Jive's plays. Hey Jive is up, fucking almost 200 units in 3 years. I don't know what the math is. Nolan is very consistent as well, up 13 plus units this year, 35 last year. They're the guys you need to tail if you're betting straight bets. Tail my long shots if you choose. You may end up in poverty or you may end up rich, but there's usually not an in-between. If you want good straight bets, go ahead and check out the Homifi Picks. Code BURNS is going to get you this entire weekend completely free from both of our handicappers. I'm going to put that link right now in the comments section, and then let's move on to the main card here. Chat loves Nolan, bro. Let's go.
Let's go, boys.
All right, boys. The chat, there's the link right there, winnable.com/HOF picks. You guys have to check out with a card when you use code BURNS. If you use a credit card and use code BURNS, it's going to charge you $0. If you decide next week you want to stay on board, that's when you're going to get charged. If you want to hit and run on us, you guys are more than welcome to do that. Try us out for free this weekend. And then if you cancel the subscription, you pay $0. Full transparency. Let's move on to the main card here. Bro, I'm actually pumped for this fight. Gabe Green versus, tell me if I'm saying the last name right. Is it Camilo?
Yeah, that's how I've been saying at least.
Camilo. I like this guy, bro. I like his story. He silenced the guy that asked Dana White for a shot. And I think he's kind of underrated, bro. I've been DMing Nick Sick. By the way, I think a 3-leg Nick Sick parlay could be live here, but we'll talk about that here shortly. I think you might be on the other side of one of his guys, but I like this guy. I think he's a solid favorite here. What's his number? -215. I'm not that high on Gabe Green in general, bro. I'll never forget, bro. I was at the Sandbar in Delray Beach, and this was Gabe Green versus Brian Battle. What was it, 2 years ago? Probably. Yep. Bro, I'll never forget this. You know how you bet a fight to go the distance or the over, and it's over in fucking 7 seconds? Like, same concept when I had who was my underdog fucking play? I know you remember. He got knocked out in 10 seconds.
Damon Blackshear?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how you have a play you fucking absolutely love, and it's over in fucking 10 seconds. That's what happened to me. I had Gabe Green, Brian Battle. It was either over 2.5 or the fight to go the distance, something like that. And I was at the Sandbar having some drinks, hanging out with friends. We're watching the fights on the TV, and the fight's over. And fucking Gabe Green just marched forward like he didn't give a shit about anything in the world. He was like, I'm just going to kill this guy, and just gets chinned like 10 seconds into the fight. And I was like, that's what happens when you bet the fucking over in MMA. It was absolutely brutal. But long story short, Gabe Green he's only 32 years old, but I think he feels older than that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
As far as damage and the type of fights he's been in. I mean, he did go the distance with D-Rod and Ian Gary and Philip Rowe. He's historically been somewhat durable, right? I mean, He's been TKO'd or KO'd 3 times, Brian Battle. But Jalen Turner back in 2017, that's nothing to be ashamed about. If Jalen Turner finishes you in Bellator, he's a big power behind Jalen Turner. What do you make of this fight? Because you can make the argument Gabe Green is a good dog just based off of the experience against the newcomer here.
Yeah, I don't really like +215 on Green. I mean, if he was like +300, +350, I get it. But, I was reminded of Gabe Green getting sparked by Brian Battle today because I was on.
Is this lightweight now?
Yeah, this one's up at lightweight.
Yeah, we have it. It says 155 on the picture. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, unless that's what it's listed at. Yeah, it's listed at that on ESPN and UFC. But I was on Gabe Green with Battle too, and I remember I was at my boy's wedding in Florida, and I was watching it on my phone, and he posted happy anniversary to his wife on Facebook today. And the first thing that popped up was like, oh, that's when Gabe Green got his ass whooped in like 10 seconds by Battle. But, he took 2 years off. I don't know what he's been doing in between then and now. And
I don't have a clue. Chat, if anyone knows, if anyone's seen articles or follows Gabe Green's social media, let us know in the comments, boys. Like, give us some insight, because I was literally just looking at his Tapology. I'm like, he hasn't fought since that not bad beat, but since that loss that I took. He literally has not fought since May of 2023. So exactly 2 years and literally exactly 2 years, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His last fight was May 13th. So 2 years and under a week since his last fight. What the hell has this guy been doing? Like,
people are going to talk about Camilo and the 2 submission losses on his record and how Gabe Green has 5 sub wins. But I mean, when's the last time Gabe Green pulled off a submission? I mean, it's against like regional level guys. I don't know if he ever did in the UFC.
Yeah, apparently he had some health issues, either surgery, LCL, heart issues, is what the chat's saying. Plus, he is going down to 55.
Yep.
You got to wonder how bad that weight cut's going to be, taking 2 years off, fighting at 70, and then coming down to 55. I think he's getting chinned, bro.
I think so.
I honestly think he's getting chinned. But then again, you look at fights where he's gone the distance against elite guys, bro.
Yeah.
Like Gary, D-Rod, not really elite, but D-Rod's solid. Phil Rowe, like, those are the only things that make you question it here. But the time off and I don't know how many. So Mateus has 9-2 record, 4 wins by knockout. Has also never been chinned. I think that's really important in this fight. The confidence of never being knocked out versus a guy that's been put away and then has had time off and going down in a weight cut, I think is super important here.
Well, and he hasn't been, he hasn't been eating shots for the last 2 years. So what happens when he gets in the cage and Camilo's just chewing up the leg? Because that's what Camilo did on his last fight to get into the UFC. Just brutalized this dude's leg that Dana White and them were there to see or whatever. And he's only 24, but his striking, he's super composed. He's powerful. His timing is good. I just don't think
sick, bro. A lot. I've seen a lot of clips, bro. I don't know what it is, but just knowing that Nick Sick is in someone's corner, it just gives me way more confidence. And then on the flip side, there are times I will bet against obviously a fighter that Nick Sick is cornering, but I just hate. I fucking feel shitty doing it. I think he's fucking elite at what he does, bro.
Yep, I agree.
All right, let's not spend too much time there. I think our final answer, we might be looking at a KO prop there for Gabe Green to get put away. Let's see here. I love this fight right here. Myron Santos versus Sadiq Yousef. A lot of questions I think are going to be answered in this fight for Yousef specifically, right? Because they try to kind of push him a little quick, I think. I don't think he had any business fighting Diego Lopez, bro.
Right.
I mean, I guess maybe because he did fight. Well, he fought Barbosa, right? Before that.
Yep, that was his fight, the 5 rounds.
Yeah, so I guess they didn't push him too fast. You gave him Barbosa first. You gave him Caceres. You gave him Arnold Allen. Here's the thing, bro. I can just see him walking into something here, or even getting countered. I almost think this is a sick buy low spot on Myron Santos, because the whole world right now is like, he lost his fight to Francis Marshall, which, let's be clear, it was a pure robbery. The guy admitted it. At first, he didn't admit it. Then he watched it, and he respectably came out and said, I did not win that fight. So a lot of respect there for Santos for being a real human being and admitting he got lucky. But you can't punish the guy for that. Like, that's not his fault. The judges are fucking morons, And now he's got, I think, a decent stylistic matchup here against Sadiq Yousef. I don't look at Yousef as a guy that's going to grapple him to death. He might mix it in a little bit, but the guy only has 1 submission win in his career. How often does this guy really shoot takedowns?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think he averages less than a half a takedown a fight, so it's not often.
Right.
It's not often.
If this is a 3-round straight striking battle, who does it favor? And do you think a KO is live?
I think. I do think a KO is live on the side of Myron Santos. Santos just seems like a kid with an insane chin for whatever reason. I feel like Myron Santos is going to be one of those guys that's impossible to knock out, just from what I've seen and just the way he fights. And he's super slick with the striking. But for Sadiq, I kind of lean on the side of Sadiq right now, and it's one I've gone back and forth on. I gave out Sadiq on the One Bet show just because of the level of competition.
What number? What number?
Plus 115.
Okay.
And
so it's gone the other way a little bit. It seems
just a little bit, yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
to,
And but at the same time, I see the side of Santos here. He didn't look great against Marshall
right now. It hasn't
He's
moved.
what?
It hasn't moved much.
What is it? Plus 116.
It's plus 116 on FanDuel.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I mean, Santos, his striking is probably going to be cleaner. He's probably going to be faster. But I mean, Sadiq's. I mean, his level of competition has definitely been better. And I don't know. I'm just not a big Francis Marshall guy. I think Sadiq is such a better striker than Francis Marshall, to where he's going to really compete on the feet with Santos. And we'll see what the physicality looks like if they get in the clinch. But
you think Sadiq's a way better striker? You said
than Francis Marshall.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
So I think it's going to be competitive. I really do. I think this is a fight. Either guy's live for the KO. Probably Santos more live than Sadiq, just because we know how Sadiq's chin is. But if it goes all 3 rounds, I think this is going to be a very close fight.
Yeah, it's tough. Question in the chat: did Santos get dropped? Unofficially, the answer is no. There was no knockdown officially. I don't know whether
kind of like squatted down, didn't he?
Like
it wasn't. Yeah.
The thing is he's a very good striker, but I don't think he was able to showcase enough just based off of that stylistic matchup last fight. So I think there's a better chance that he could find a big counter shot or a nice shot with Yousef coming in versus Yousef finding that shot. I don't know. And I used to be kind of high on Sadiq, but the Edson Barbosa fight, I kind of feel like just overrated him in a way.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, Edson Barbosa got dropped on the feet by Bryce Mitchell. Let's not forget, Giga Chikadze put him away. Murphy beat the fucking brakes off of him, landed 220 significant strikes over 5 rounds and should have finished him multiple times. Like, let's not forget Barbosa in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in his last 10 fights has lost 6 times. So like I just feel like Sadiq Yousef is just a little bit overvalued just for like going 5 rounds with Edson, landing 178 significant strikes. I think if anything, the loss to Arnold Allen's more impressive than anything he's done, truthfully.
I will say
going 3 rounds, Arnold Allen, to me, is the most impressive thing he's done in the UFC, outside of some of his early wins like Mike Davis. But I don't know.
I will say he had Edson Barbosa dead to rights, and I thought the ref could have stopped that fight multiple times.
I remember because I had the finish, and I was
I did too. And he kind of emptied the tank, and then he was able to hang in there against Edson, whose striking's pretty nasty. But this is a 3-rounder. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And if Myron Santos can win, like he's kind of getting thrown into deeper waters here, going from Con Offley, Francis Marshall, and now Sadiq Yousef. If he beats Yousef, it's kind of off to the races for him, in my opinion. I think that's what the UFC is probably hoping because, they saw, okay, you won a robbery. They're kind of rewarding him with a big name here on a main card. So,
yeah. All right, we won't spend more time. Final answer for me, I'm going to lean Myron Santos, maybe a KO sprinkle. We shall see. I can't wait to talk this one through with you. One of my favorite dogs of the week outside of my fucking dog, Dorino. But I think this is one of my more favorite small, what some people would say is a more realistic dog, even though I don't agree with that. But Julian Arosa, bro, I'll tell you what, dude, I've seen him fight live recently a couple times. You were there with me for that, right? The Arosa fight?
Yeah.
Obviously, it just sucks because you can't take a lot out of that fight because it was Elkins on his last leg and limbs, like just completely retired and checked out. But here's what I'll say, bro. I think Arosa deserves more respect than this. Like, I think he's the better submission upside than Costa. I think both are good grapplers, but I think Arosa's the better finisher when it comes to submission grappling. And then I think this guy I think his striking has turned a corner. Like, I think it's good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good. I think his club and sub is live. I think his him finding the neck in a grappling exchange is live. I think he's also live on the scorecards here to win 29-28. So I'm going underdog here. Let's not forget, Arosa has choked out guys that are, similar to Mount Costa, bro. Like fucking, what's his name? C-Rod had never been choked out before. He comes into that fight and Arosa makes it look easy. And I just think if there's a big grappling exchange here, Arosa's just going to show levels. Now, if this is a 3-round stand-up striking match, I do think Costa could probably edge it out just barely, but I'm not even sure about that. Like I do, again, going back to the whole Nixick thing, I believe in Arosa. I think he has like a late career resurgence here, and I actually like him as a dog, whereas I feel like everyone is leaning on the Costa side here. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think I have seen a lot of people on the Costa side, and could be a little recency bias. I had a tough time picking a side in this one. So on my show, I gave out someone to get finished under 2.5 rounds. I told myself it was under -175. I'm gonna play it because, like you said, man, Arosa can submit anybody. I don't care. Melt Costa just submitted Feely.
Arosa's the dog.
Dude, yeah. I mean, his submission game can be lights out. And I mean, we've seen Melt Costa put himself in bad situations on the mat. But I also feel
get Darst, bro. We're gonna clip this. Remember, I said this shit. Julian Arosa by Darst over Mount Costa, bro. Remember, I said that shit.
I like it. He's got those long arms. But, on Costa's side, his body kicks are so nasty. And Arosa's, his hands start to drop in fights. And it's gotten him clipped. Like, when people beat Julian Arosa, they clip him. And I think a few of those body kicks, the hands start to drop. And he's going to be, he could get chinned here. He's been knocked out 8 times. But on the flip side, man, I think he's live for the sub, too. I was going back and forth. I settled on somebody getting finished. Both these guys have momentum. Both these guys are one big performance away from really making some noise, and I think we're going to get it out of one of them.
The problem I have with the KO angle on Arosa's chin is, like, Costa doesn't have a single KO in the UFC. And, like, when I watch the tape, like, yeah, he has some prior. But, like, do you really think this guy's big power? Like, I think he has good striking, and he's very well-rounded. But I think you got to be, like, almost a specialist. Like, you have to be, like, an elite striker with power. And then it's like, okay, just prevent the grappling and knock out Arosa. But I weirdly think this is a great matchup stylistically for Arosa because I don't look at Costa. And Costa's won me money. I've bet on him multiple times. I like the guy's future. But I almost think this is you could make the chin argument, but he hasn't chinned anyone in the UFC yet. Now, he has gotten subs, but Andre Feely I always remember Moicano tweeting, did Andre Feely just push himself into that game?
Yeah.
It was the weirdest submission. And then the Nuremberg fight, it took him fucking 12, 13 minutes to get that sub.
Yeah.
Other than that, he doesn't have any finishes. The fight with C-Rod could have went either way. And I know you're not supposed to do MMA math, but, Arosa finished C-Rod in the first round. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to look like an idiot on this one or I'm missing something, but I kind of feel like Arosa has momentum. I kind of feel like he's really improved late in his career, has a good coach, good corner for this matchup. And I just don't look at Costa as like a one-punch power guy. So we shall see. Let's move on. Dustin Stofus versus Nursultan Rousbo. This will be interesting because we've talked about Rousbo on the Show Me the Money podcast, and he fucking went off on Gilbert when we started saying stuff. And they're on the same card now, so it'll be funny to see this. I don't know what to fucking do with this guy, bro. I'm hoping you can give me some clarity. At the end of the day, I think he's overrated, but I don't know. Every person convinces me otherwise, and I guess I get swayed. When I watch his tape, I'm like, literally all he does is wait to throw a big straight right. Like, I don't think his striking's that diverse or great, or like, I feel like it's literally just a one-hand right or bust. But then again, the dude's 6'5". He's fighting at 185. I think the Buckley fight was a bad weight cut, apparently. He was too low of a weight class. And Buckley's elite, let's be honest. Like, he deserves that to be called elite at this point with what he's done over his past few fights. And Dustin Stolfus, I feel like there's a lot of pass for Rousbo here. Stolfus could walk his way into something in a grappling exchange and get choked out. He could obviously get chinned. We know that. And then it's also hard to hit Rousbo, right? He does have good striking defense in the UFC. But, like, dude, when I watch his tape, I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like he just literally has that right hand fucking cocked back and he's just waiting to chin somebody. And if he doesn't find that, then I don't think there's usually a plan B. So maybe I'm crazy. What do you make of this fight? Where do you lean on?
I think I got Rousbo figured out a little bit. I mean, just from watching so much tape, and yes, he's got knockout power. His striking, like you said, it's not like he's this crazy striker. He's just got so much power in the right hand, and he's ready for it at all times. But the guys he's knocking out, Bruno Ferreira, that fight didn't really last very long. All he took was, one big shot, put him out. Cedriques Dumas, everybody knows what he's been doing in the UFC. He's getting knocked out by everybody. And then Eric Meconico, who made his debut. Look, I think he's a guy who looks for that right hand and knockout. But if you want to try to wrestle him, he's going to try to submit you. And it's luckily he hasn't hit the level to where people can defend one or the other. Like if you're like, oh shit, I can't take this guy's power, I'm going to wrestle him. Well, then you get submitted. I mean, the guy's got 20 submissions on his record, and if you can't stand him and hit him because he's 6'5" with a crazy reach, he's gonna knock you out. For Stoltzfus though, I think Stoltzfus is going to try to wrestle right away. I don't think Stoltzfus wants any part of going in there and trying to strike with this 6'5" monster. And I think, honestly, Ruzabayev could find the neck.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I think
I'm on round one and round two.
Ruzabayev wants the KO in this matchup just based off what I've seen. But, like, if fucking Stoltzfus hands him the neck on a platter, it's like he's going to take it.
Yeah, I agree.
I need to look and see what the number is right now. But
plus 600.
I mean, that's like similar to the Denise Gomes. Like I'm getting the same vibes. Like I feel like if you play that, if you play sub on both them, Gomes and Ruzabayev, I feel like you're gonna at least hit one of two, and make a nice profit. Yeah, I mean, but Dustin's grappling is good. Like he did go to halfway through to the third round with GM3 and Rodolfo Vieira. It's like if Rodolfo and GM3 are subbing you late in the third round, it's like, can Ruzabayev really sub you? I mean, if he hurts him, anything's possible, obviously. But that's just something to look at. That was back in 2021. Stofus is he's a hard guy to read, dude. Like his knockout win is aged good against Marc-Andre Barriault, but then again, Bruno Silva's like a fucking we don't know what to do with that. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm undecided on this one. Do you have a lean on the over-under?
I'm leaning under. Man, I'll tell you the number I took this play at. I took round one sub Ruzabayev at plus 1,300, and I've sprinkled round two at plus 2,300. Just because, like, if it doesn't happen in the first two rounds, it's probably Stoltzfus actually having success with the wrestling late. Like, I think Stoltzfus will have the more capabilities to make it more of a dogfight late. I think Ruzabayev will kind of start the gas if he can't find anything, and I think he will win the first two rounds. But yeah, I lean under. I lean Ruzabayev either flatlining him or hopefully submitting him. Even Stoltzfus's wins, I don't know. It's kind of a come from behind, snatch something, or it's a Marc-Andre Barriault who doesn't have much.
I like the Soriano win too, bro. This guy's just so hit or miss, I think you have to go violence here. I don't know what the number is right in a second.
It's minus 120 for under 1.5.
All right, do me a favor, bro. Give the chat your best 30-second breakdown on this fight. I'm going to run to the restroom.
Yep, got you. All right, so Paul Craig, Rodolfo Bolato. Craig is back up at 205 pounds here. That's where he kind of had some of his biggest wins, but that's where he started to look, pretty bad before he dropped down to 185. I think Bolato isn't the most high-level fighter, but he doesn't really have the highest IQ either. I think he could run into something on the ground, possibly give his arm or his neck, but he's so strong, man. I think at the end of the day, he'll be able to fend off some of these sub attempts unless he just gets caught by something super sneaky. And while it's on the feet, I think Bolato is just going to back him up to the cage and just be brawling with him. And, Craig's shown he can hang in there for a little bit against guys like Caio Bahayo until he gets flatlined. But Bolato is such a different style to where he's not going to fight a composed technical striking matchup. He's just going to march you down, put you against the cage and start winging bombs. Like, he doesn't take his time. He's not a composed fighter. He's just marching straight ahead. But again, I don't think he's the highest level or highest fight IQ type of fighter to where if he does drop Craig and he follows him down, I think he can be in trouble. And I expect him to not really have the IQ to stay on the feet. I think he just dives on him if he hurts him. So yeah, I lean Bolato, obviously, to get the win. This is a big number for a guy who's submitted way better fighters than Rodolfo Bolato.
Yeah, I'm extremely torn here, bro. I don't know if the true OGs remember when I hit Paul Craig.
Oh yeah,
40. No, I'm blanking. It was either 40. No, it
it
wasn't
was like
that.
42, wasn't it?
I think it was like 38 to 1 or 40. It was like 35, 40 to 1. I had round 2 TKO against Andre Muniz, and it smacked. But I have to admit, I've never admitted this publicly, but I feel like I got a little bit lucky there. It was a weird fucking thing with the ref and then positioning, and then Muniz gassed. Here's what I'll say, bro. I'm about to be at this fight live. I've made serious money on Paul Craig in my lifetime. Now, I have lost on him recently a couple times now. I didn't take him in that Bo Nickel fight. I didn't like that fight, but I did take him against Kaio because the odds were just stupid, right? In hindsight, I think Kaio's like top 3 in the world right now in his division. The Brendan Allen fight, he lasted, to the 3rd round, but I mean, he couldn't do any output, bro. Like 6 significant strikes through 3 rounds, bro. And then Brendan Allen got a rear naked choke on him. This fight to me is more about Bolato. It's like this guy could fuck this fight up so easily.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm almost looking at the 2-3 sub for Paul Craig, bro. Like, I get it. There's a great chance Craig gets fucking put away in this fight. No doubt about it. He could get KO'd. I almost want to go Bolato KO and then Craig 2-3 sub. Craig 2-3. Craig round 2 subs 21 to 1. Round 3's 30 to 1. I think he's the more experienced guy with better cardio. And I think Bolato's can gas so easily, but he's got heart. I got so screwed, bro. I had Ehor at like 18 to 1 in that round 2 KO or whatever it was. And he had him dead to Waters and then
ref could have stopped that fight, honestly.
100%.
Yeah. I just, man, for Paul Craig, it's just such a different style than he's used to. Like, Bo Nickel took his time, didn't throw much volume. Kaio took his time and just, technically fought his way into the pocket and would land big shots. Bolato's just going to come in swinging. And I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if Paul Craig's going to shell up if he starts eating big shots or what. But, yeah, I think if Paul Craig does pull it off, it's definitely later in the fight when Bolato's gassed and he jumps on the neck, gets an arm bar, something like that. But Bolato's a good grappler, too. People forget. Pretty sure he's a black belt, got 4 subs on his record.
But nobody wants to fuck with Paul Craig on the ground, bro.
No, yeah, you're right.
All right, I got to address this comment. The fight foo Gabriel says, I wish I was your bookie. You can be my bookie. Go to betopenly.com, make an account. Shout out to Uncle Gino and Bet Openly for sponsoring the pod. Guys, this is peer-to-peer betting. It's 2025. You need to put peer-to-peer betting in your betting arsenal. Use the sportsbook still for big parlays and anything else you want to bet, but you can get way better value by betting a friend head-to-head, 1% juice, better odds, or just housing other people's bets. If you think I suck at betting, send link, brother. I'll send you the link. You can take my money. So DM me on IG if you want to go head-to-head on any picks that we disagree on. I'm going with my guy fucking Paul Craig here, bro. I can't fade him. I would be down to do a 2-way action here and hedge like a 1-2. Yeah, that number sucks, bro. You almost got to take Bolato round 2 KO at plus 430. That's not a bad number, but the round 1 plus 185 on the KO is pretty.
Those always get so burned.
I think he's going to be afraid of gassing. I think the first round, both guys are going to feel each other out, and then we're going to see a lot of action in round 2. And I think there's going to be scrambles and opportunities for Bolato to get a KO or ground and pound, and then Craig to like do something crazy, pull guard, get a scramble, something. I think both guys could get a finish in round 2. I'm going 2-way action. I'm going Bolato round 2 KO, and I'm going Craig 2-3 sub. I'm going to sprinkle on those, bro.
Let's
move on to the. All right, boys. You already know we can just end the show right now. There's nothing to fucking talk about here, boys and girls. It's Dorino. Look at that number, plus 675. Here's what I'm going to say, Nolan. All these little guys in the comments here are going to say and talk a lot of shit here. They're going to say Gilbert's getting flatlined. Gilbert's getting put away. Morales is the future. but not one of them are going to risk $675 to win 100. Would you agree with that?
1000%.
You can talk shit and say that what you think is stating the obvious, right? But at the end of the day, these are betting odds, and it's a betting line, bro. Like, we're gamblers. We're not fucking picking fights. Like, it's easy to go up and down the whole card and pick every favorite to win. And you'll probably hit 80%, 90% of your bets, let's be honest, depending on the card. But I don't want to hear shit about Gilbert's a bad bet or it's a donation if you're not willing to back the opposite side at minus 675. So if you want to bet me head-to-head on this fight, betopenly.com, go make an account, DM me the link on Instagram or tweet and tag me, and I'll take any amount. I'll put on Gilbert. If you want to put up $600-700 to take my 100, I'll put that up. If you want to put up $6,000 to take my 1,000, I'll put that up to anybody out there. Well, let's talk about this fight, bro, because the first thing everyone's going to say to me is I'm biased, and that's true. That is correct. But removing myself from the situation here and looking at this fight, I swear on my entire life, I watched so much tape on Michael Morales, and I do not think, unless he's made crazy improvements, I do not think there's a fucking world in the world here where he should be this type of favorite. I'm so confused, bro. I'm so confused with this fight that I'm like, dude, go watch the Trevin Giles fight. He got hurt. Go watch the Neil Magny fight. He was controlled for 2.5 minutes. You don't think Gilbert can do more with those positions? Like, I'm just confused, bro. Like, tell me what I'm missing. Again, I know that I'm biased. Gilbert is my fucking boy. I'm going to ride with him no matter what. I'm going to be at the Apex this Saturday with some Brazil gear on. I'm going to be riding for him no matter what. Even if I thought he was going to lose, right, I would still take him because that's how I am. But I'm genuinely telling everyone that's watching right now, I'm blown away that I think Michael Morales should be a 2-1 favorite based off of youth and win streak, etc. 7-1. What am I missing, bro? Tell me.
No, I don't think you're missing anything. There's so much value, honestly, on anybody at this number in the UFC. I mean, how many times have we seen these big guys fall, like a Michael Morales, who's anywhere from minus 600 to minus 1,000 to, Bo Nickel odds. And certain fights he's been in, he's been a massive favorite that I don't think he should have been. But at the end of the day, for Gilbert Burns, his last 3 fights, yes, he's lost them all. Bilal Muhammad was just the champ 7 days ago. Jack Della Maddalena, the champ right now. Sean Brady, #1 in the world in the rankings. So, I mean, you're going from that to fighting the guy in Michael Morales, who's fighting the Neil Magny's, Jake Matthews, Max Griffin, who he went to a decision with, and Max Griffin just got finished by Michael Chiesa. And the fight that I watched, I'm like, okay, this Morales kid is going to struggle at the top, was against Adam Fugit. When Adam Fugit took him down pretty easily in round 1. Adam Fugit clipped him one time in round 1. I mean, the guy, I don't think he's a guy who's going to be a champion in the next year and a half, 2 years. Like, I think this is a guy who's going to have to hit adversity before he takes that next step. He's only 25 years old. I mean, I know when I was 25 years old, I mean, there was no way that I'd be ready for something like this. So I always keep those type of things in mind.
The footage, I'm like, go watch the Jake Matthews fight, like they didn't put away Jake Matthews. Go watch the fucking Max Griffin fight. I mean, he wins these unanimous decisions, no doubt. If anything, if I take my bias out of the equation and I'm like, okay, I think this guy's really good, I think the way to play Michael Morales is Morales by decision.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like, I think the entire world is going to be on Morales KO when the reality of it is like, is Gilbert's chin really gone? Like, he took a crazy knee in the 3rd round against fucking, against the now champ, right? Like, anyone that takes that knee, it's going to be hard to recover. Like, it's not like he got chinned with a soft punch or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I think if Morales wins this fight, I honestly believe that he just defending the takedowns, staying away from the grappling situations, staying technical and winning, a 3-2 or a 4-1. Like, that's me being unbiased, right? I can see that path for Michael Morales. I really can. But Gilbert by submission, 12-1.
That's a big number.
Blow him for like 2 or 3 minutes in the grappling. Gilbert by KO, 25-1 on FanDuel right now. That's disgusting. Gilbert by decision is 12-1. So let me ask you, Nolan, if you're gonna make a play on Gilbert, what method do you like the best?
Oh, I honestly, I think by decision.
You like
I
think both sides by decisions live?
I think so because, like, look, Gilbert Burns was so close to throwing a wrench on the entire welterweight timeline because he's up 2-0 against Jack Della Maddalena using the wrestling. Look how I know it's probably improved since then, but Jack's takedown defense is phenomenal against Bilal. I mean, it's not a bad takedown defense, and he was able to do that through 10 minutes. I think if he does that against the 25-year-old Michael Morales through the first 2 or 3 rounds, I think Morales is going to get pretty mentally defeated. And I think it's going to become harder and harder and harder to defend takedowns to where Gilbert can just beat him up on the ground. I do think Morales is tough, and I don't think it's going to be easy to finish him, but I do think he can get taken down. And, it's either decision or submission, because let's say he does get taken down and he gives up his back trying to get back up. You have that whole conversation. But I definitely think plus 675 on Burns is wild. I think he's way more live. I think there's a lot of recency bias cooked into this line. But if Gilbert pulls it off, I think he could win 3 of these rounds here for sure.
Bro, Gilbert's almost due for a sub. Like, I mean, he got Neil Magny a couple years ago, I guess.
Yeah, early.
But like, if you look at the guys he's fought since Neil Magny, they're guys that pretty much have never been subbed. Like Sean Brady, obviously never been subbed. I don't think Jack Della had been subbed, unless he did in those first 2 fights of the career that he lost. I don't think he did though. Bilal, you're not subbing Bilal.
Yeah.
Masvidal, say what you want about Masvidal's grappling, but he's good defensively. Like,
yep.
I don't think he's ever been subbed in the UFC. He actually has a sub against Chiesa. Like what I'm getting at here is the people that are like, oh, no chance Gilbert subs this guy. Morales hasn't fought elite grapplers for the most part. And then Gilbert hasn't had a sub since that Neil Magny fight, but the guys he's fought since Neil Magny, the 4 guys, Masvidal, Muhammad, Maddalena, Brainy, are guys that historically have pretty much never been submitted, ever. So like that's why I'm like, and then you watch the tape on Morales versus Magny, and it's like if Gilbert's in that exact situation in round 1, I think he can do more with it, obviously, than what Magny did. So I do think it's live. I feel you on the decision, though. I do think that's a possibility. But all right, bro, let's wrap up here. You want to try to, before we do that, I do want to shout out all the boys behind the scenes here at Homifi. Guys, go support the Homifi brand. It means a lot to me, to Nolan, to everybody that works, Jake, Roman, everyone behind the scenes. Homifight.com. You get great content, articles. There's also betting articles on there. There's podcasts and shows. The Show Me the Money pod's on there. Nolan's articles and YouTube videos are now featured on there. Basically unlimited MMA and combat sports content. Homifight.com. If you guys want to go check that out, I'm going to put it in here. Nolan, you want to build one parlay before we jump off here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anything that comes to mind. Do you want to go aggressive or conservative?
Let's go aggressive, bro. You're going to be there live.
All right, so then let's go 1 long shot each. And it doesn't have to be let's go 1 big plus money play each. Long shot's not going to work because you know how it is. If you get 2 plus 500 plus 600 legs in there, that's a nice parlay. Yep. So let's say anything 3 to 1 or higher for each of us, and we'll build a 2-legger, and then I'll go fucking put it in right now when we get off.
Let's go.
What do you got first?
All right, I'm going Denise Gomes sub.
I knew it.
Plus 500. I love the read so much. I think it has a chance to come through for sure. Better than 5 to 1.
I'm going Juicy J sub, bro. Two leg submission. I know you're not necessarily on that, but you are on the under, right?
Yeah, no, I think if Arosa wins, that's how he wins. So
let's see what this plays at Circa, because I'm literally going to go downstairs right now and go put this bad boy in. All right, let's take a look here. Fights, method of victory. Oh, here we go. Plus 500 on Gomes, not bad. And then Arosa sub plus 425. Is that higher than most books?
Let's see. I can tell you what it is on.
Dude, plus 425 on a guy that's 14-0 and fights that end by submission. What the fuck?
It should be. What did you say it was at Circa?
425. Well, this is a 30-1 leg.
DraftKings has it at plus 400, 4-1.
The number at circa.
Yep.
All right, official parlay, 30-1 parlay. I'm gonna type this in the chat, boys and girls. Costa sub plus 425. I'm Costa, fucking Arosa. Arosa sub plus 425. Gomes sub plus 500. $100 pays 3,000, boys and girls. How is that not hidden?
It's hitting.
I fucking love that, bro. I fucking love that.
And if it does, I'm happy too. If Arosa does it and it hits under 2.5.
Chat, go to that right now. Don't put a crazy amount on it. It's 30-1 odds, but it's honestly what I believe the best path to victories for both of these guys and gals here. I think I think Arosa has the way better submission upside, and I think Gomes doesn't need to get in a crazy barn burner here. She can fucking out physical this chick, get it to the ground, and put her away, bro. Yep. The cycle parlay will be out tomorrow. I'm a little bit behind from traveling. I physically have not bet anything yet this weekend. So tomorrow will be a big day for me of getting bets in. Please, guys, like and subscribe. Nolan, if you want to shout anything out, go ahead, brother.
Yep, all social media is at TheParlayMMA, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, all of them. So appreciate you having me on, man. It's a lot of fun.
Parlay, just Parlay, or TheParlayMMA.
TheParlayMMA, yep.
TheParlayMMA on all social media. Guys, go check out Nolan, X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The One Bet Show is a fucking hit, boys. You guys got to watch the One Bet Show. Every card, literally, he just goes through every fight. Quick one bet on every single fight. It's a good ass show, and he's been hot. So go check that out. Appreciate everyone. Like and subscribe. Check out homifight.com. We will see you guys tomorrow. Nolan and I will be back for the Long Shots Only show.